In this brief demo, I'm going to show you a couple of workarounds for kind of using a placeholder image if you're not updated to the 2017 version yet. I have two sort of finished examples here. Basically, there's two techniques, I guess. You can create a picture box, or rather, a graphic box. And if I want to keep it square, I'll hold my Shift key down here. And using the fill background image, that's one way to get it. So add image. And I'll just use the first one here and click open. And then I would have to go in and change the fitting size. I don't have as much control with this technique, but let's finish it off here. Scale to fill works. Now some of that image is getting clipped, just so you know. But there's one way. And then again, if I wanted to replicate that as a placeholder, again, Option key on the Mac, Alt key on the PC and all that. I'll just snap a couple of these over here. Alt click and drag with my Shift key down, and then I'll go into the next image and right click. And let me just get this so you can sort of see it here on the capture. Replace background image, and here's where you just grab a different image basically. Alright, so that's one way, using the fill image command, but you don't have as much control over that. Like I can't go in and actually, not easily anyway, resize these within the border. So let me just delete those, but that's how this top row was done. And I'll use a different technique this time. I'll actually place an image. So I'll go File, Place, and that's how the second row was done. File, Place. I'll just grab this first one, which is not a square, perfect square. So when I grab this, it's a horizontally oriented image, and it's quite large. So I'm going to reduce this. And I'm not holding any modifier keys. That is to say, I'm not holding the Shift key. And I'll roughly size this up here. But what I'm going to have to do, basically, is come up here to the size. You know what? Here's a better way to do it because the numbers will be easier to manage. It's still chained. Actually, I'll lock the chain there, sorry. And I'll change the height to an even number, such as 200. Hit my Tab key to enter that. And this one happens to be 2 by 3, so it's 200 by 300 pixels here. Now, if I want to change the frame size, I need to change this to 200 independently. However, there's a little glitch because the image will stretch or shrink accordingly. So you need to remember these numbers, 300 by 200. Okay, so let's unchain that. I'll change this to 200, hit my Tab key to enter. And as you see, it's squished. However, again, a way to access that image inside of the frame is to double click on it. So let's double click on it. And now you can kind of see the different looking marquee. I can move it around, I can manually resize this, but if I wanted to accurately bring it back to its original proportions, I should do it using the number. So I'm going to switch the width back to 300. Bada boom, and tab, and there you go. Now if I click away, you will see the image within the boundaries, and it's no longer distorted. Now using this technique, I have the following advantage. If I double click, I can resize manually, and again, as long as I'm not holding my Shift key, it won't distort. And again, another nice thing is I can actually move it about, so I can sort of change the framing. So if I wanted to capture that second student and not cut her nose off like here, I have that ability. So by far, this is the superior method. So I placed an image, I resized it numerically using the properties. I had to unchain it if I wanted to change the proportion. Then I resized the one I wanted to change. Then I double clicked on the initial image, and if for some reason it got distorted, I recorded the original size. I re-put that original size back in here. And then later, I have the ability to manually move it around within the context of the frame. Okay, so this is just a workaround until you get up to the 2017 version of Adobe Muse, or beyond, of course. All right, so if you're not using the newer version, this one will work too. Now let me just go in here and duplicate this. Now my smart guys are keeping me constrained, but I could also use my Shift key. And again, if I just right click on here, let me just move this up a bit so that you can see it. Okay, so right click on here, replace image, and it's as simple as that. replace image. And I have all the same features. I can resize it within the context of the frame and reposition it so that it's better framed. All right, so that is the technique you use with the slightly older version of Muse.